What's going on, everybody? We are now live with the Fantasy Couch podcast. I am joined with Mike Mattal and a very special guest, Vach Lombardi. So excited to have you on the show, man. What's up?
What's good, y'all? It's Vach Lombardi, John Wick III, Lombardicus Prime, all that. Thanks for having me, man. Been a long time.
So you're a pretty dope YouTuber. I don't know how I discovered you. Probably like related videos, and just like, man, you're kind of cool. You like have your own style, and I'm a fan, of your channel. I just wanted to say that.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Hard work, hard work is what it's all about. If you don't like people talking football in suits, then you can, find a bunch of dope guys on YouTube like you and me. So
yeah, that's kind of dying now.
Sure.
That's
So
kind of a dying breed, and we're the ones kind of thriving from that.
Absolutely, let's run it,
dude. Let's jump into it. Let's. You want to talk about? We're gonna talk about the NFL draft. Let's talk about your team. You're a Cowboys fan. Let's talk about the Cowboys fans. I don't even know what's going on. My brain hasn't had time to digest it, the draft fully yet, and just want to hear you talk about your Cowboys. Who did you guys draft?
Well, in terms of the Cowboys picks or whatever, and I know your chat box is ready to call me a homer, but I try to be rational about it. We didn't make any sexy picks. Those put the butt in seats picks. We didn't make any of those. We built from the inside opposed to build for the flash. So we're going to have like 30 contracts next year and we can't pay everybody, So what we're doing is we're drafting for the future. And there are some Cowboy fans that are mad that, none of our guys are going to be starting, but if your rookie start, that means you were bad in that place. You know what I mean? So I think we got some pretty solid guys as far as Tristan Hill, UCF, D tackle. I'm really excited about Connor McGovern. I'm an offensive line guy. I preach offensive line. Teams don't really like to draft O-line till their quarterback is getting scraped off the canvas or, just whatever. So build your offensive line, build your defense, and the Cowboys did that. It wasn't sexy. We didn't get a flash receiver, but I'm a fan of it.
That's exactly that's exactly how I
what's
felt.
What's your scouting report on Tony Pollard, though, real quick? From Memphis, the running back.
Tony Pollard. So thing about Tony is that it was 3 running backs in Memphis and they all got about 200 carries or something. But Tony got like 70, but he got a gang of catches and he got a gang of kick returns. But people think he's just a gadget guy, but he runs tough. Like he's a tough runner. If you watch his Senior Bowl film, he's running people over. He had food poisoning at the combine and he ran at his pro day 4.38 or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. 4.38.
Now that's a combine 40, so it might be like a 4.41, but that's still plenty fast. You can watch the home run speed. Watching the film, he can catch. They line him up at X, Y, Z, wherever you want to line him up at. He catches the football, and I'm excited about that pick, man.
So if you draft Zeke, you're handcuffing him with Pollard, is what you're saying.
In fantasy football terms, Mike Weber would be your handcuff because Tony's technically not the second running back. He is a running back, but he can be on the field at the same time with Zeke. So you can get Tony, but Tony's going to catch the ball some. Tony's going to get some jet sweep work, and Tony can line up in the back and run. But if Zeke goes out, then Mike Weber goes in, but Tony stays in. See what I mean?
Got it. Crystal clear.
When the Cowboys were drafting, whenever it was 4 or 5 years ago, that's exactly what I thought too. Like, not exciting picks and whatnot, but that's how they built the core with quote unquote the best offensive line in the league. You think it's still gonna be? You think it's gonna be the number one offensive line this year?
Well, last year it wasn't because the offensive line lives off what we call old bodies. You know what I mean? So like, we have a reputation for being the best. So now all of a sudden we're the best this year. They were pretty bad last year. Travis Frederick was hurt. Lael Collins forgot how to use his hands. And Connor Williams was a rookie. In these offseason programs, they give them peanut butter sandwiches and they just grow 10 pounds bigger and they just get real big and strong. So what I would like to do and what I think is going to happen, I think Connor is going to be our right tackle. Lael Collins get kicked off a bridge. You can save $9 million and Connor McGovern is going to be your new left guard there, which I love. He's one of those big physical nasty dudes, try to pancake everybody type of guy. You can watch him versus Michigan and you plug him in at left guard, you can just giddy up and go.
Did they start gelling a little bit better towards the end of the season? Because once they got Amari Cooper, the Cowboys started actually playing really well. Or was it because they got Amari Cooper, or both happened at the same time?
Hell no, let me tell you what happened. And often what happens with Cowboy fans is that we associate, and let me not even say we, I think 80% of Cowboy fans are idiots and irrational and emotional. And I'm in that 20 somewhere. And what happens is the offensive line can be bad, but if we win the game, it's okay. And I hate that. So if you look at the Saints game or whatever, like that got sacked 7 times versus Saints, but we won. So in their mind, Xavier Su'a-Filo was good.
The defense killed it that game.
The defense saved our butts or whatever. Right, because we couldn't score. And in my mind, I'm like, man, if we had a better offensive line, we could finish drives. We can get 4th and 1. We can actually be a little more productive in the red zone. And we can give our defense a break and make other teams play from behind. But you know how that goes. But we finally upgraded on the line, and I'm excited. I've always been the Zeke is the best running back in the league guy. So if you're a fantasy guy, guy or girl or whatever, you can expect Zeke to be even better this year, I think, because the line is better.
Yeah, I got number 1 Saquon Barkley, number 2 Zeke, number 3 Kamara, and it's it's really hard when I'm thinking like, should I put Zeke number 1 because he's so safe. Everything's going to be there, and he's been catching more balls, so he has a chance to catch even more balls 2019.
I tell you what, man, last year I was kind of watching Alvin, right? And I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen these first 4 games when Mark's not here, And Alvin did just fine playing that role as the number 1 guy. So I'm cool with that. And, the Saints are going to be the Saints. I don't know how good Saquon is going to be minus Odell Beckham. Now, this is what my brain says. If it's like a PPR league and it's Saquon, then Eli's just going to dump the ball off to him, and he's just going to spam pass
for negative 2 yards. But you still get, what's that, 0.8 fantasy points for that, though.
Absolutely. But, are they going to let Saquon run the ball like that? You know what I mean? Like that Giants offense is a little less complete than it once was at first. So I feel you on that whole Saquon angle, but I would take Zeke. I would take Alvin. Todd is a big question mark for a lot of people this year. Like, what happened to him? Was he hurt, or was CJ did he fit better? Like, you know what I mean? So, running back is definitely a conversation that you got to look at.
He's got that arthritis, which is a huge concern, and I mean, I'm not going to really get into that topic till a couple months later, see what happens. But I mean, that's a huge question mark. Let's talk about Mike. What do you want to talk about in the draft? What are some good?
I mean, I just couldn't believe that the Raiders, messed up basically like we thought they would by reaching for Farrell. And then essentially, the pick that they got for Mack, they turned into Jacobs, which is fine. But I mean, it's kind of hard to justify you traded Khalil Mack for a running back, even though they do need a running back. And then the safety they got at the end of the round. I don't know. I just think there's a bunch of questionable moves by this team. Also, the Giants, that was a huge surprise, I think, for everybody when the Giants took Daniel Jones as the first quarterback off the board, number 6. Those are the 2 biggest takeaways that I saw, like in the first round at least.
I hate the Raiders' first 5 picks. I hate them. Let me recount 1, 2, 3, 4. I hate
who is it? Let's go through the first. Yeah, let's go through the first 5 picks. I'm trying to bring it up.
At number 4, Cleveland Farrell was there, and I kind of understand the notion.
Quinnen Williams got taken the pick before, which I thought would be the perfect fit right there.
Quinnen is the best player in the draft, and he should have been gone, but Arizona's out here doing the wrong thing. But like, if you wanted a defensive end, I think Montez was a better defensive end. Now, he failed because everybody was like, oh, he got a heart condition. Then like a day before, he was like, nope, we lied. He don't have a heart condition. But I don't think
that's so weird. That's you could make a conspiracy out of that. Those things are so weird.
I don't think Cleveland was the 4th best player off the board. I hated that.
No, he was not.
Well, who's thinking that? Except for Mayock.
That was a no-brainer. You go Josh Allen right there, or you go Devin White.
Trade down. That's it. I mean, something? I don't know.
Sure. And I've never really been on the whole Josh Jacobs is running back number 1 campaign. I hate having that conversation with people.
He was the third leading rusher on his own team at Alabama.
I watched film on Josh Jacobs, and I asked people to, okay, look, can you explain to me why Josh is running back number one? And this is what they say. They say, oh, man, he's a powerful back, and he's fast enough, and he can catch, and he has some kind of wiggle. And I'm like, bro, why don't you get a running back that runs people over, that can catch, that has burst, and that can wiggle? Why don't you do that? Like, David Montgomery is a better running back than Josh Jacobs. He's not as powerful of a back as Josh Jacobs, but he can run people over as well. I'm a Rock Armstead fan. I'm a Darrell Henderson fan. Josh Jacobs ain't complete enough for me. Now, I'm saying this on your fantasy show. I'm not saying that Josh Jacobs won't be a good fantasy back, because, you know, fantasy mostly is about
opportunity exactly,
or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to give him the ball. But in terms of draft, damn, David Montgomery went in the third round.
What about I like Singletary. What do you think of him? He went to the Bills, right?
He's fantastic. He's Shady McCoy, but with a little more attitude, with a little more bad attitude. Why don't you wait and get a running back later and get somebody that can help your team in another place?
Who would you have picked at 24 if you were the Raiders?
Man, let me pull up this daggum list.
So here we go, guys. So the Raiders picks, and I got it up for the people that are checking out the video. Pick 4 overall, Clelin Ferrell. 24 overall, Josh Jacobs. 27, Jonathan Abram, safety. Probably not the best safety in the league. I think it went before. Round 2, pick 8, Trayvon Mullen, cornerback, and then round 4, pick 4, Max Crosby, edge rusher.
So look, peep this out. With your first pick, instead of going Clelin Ferrell, just go Devin White. So that's a Mike linebacker for you. Cool. Right. You get to your 24th spot. Montez Sweat is on the board. Draft Montez right there. Now you filled up your end spot or whatever, or your left defensive end spot. Okay, you got Jonathan Abram at 27, in which I don't hate, but I do think there are safeties better than him. You could have gotten Greedy Williams or something, the best cornerback in the draft. Now they didn't take him for whatever reason. I ain't gonna get into all that, but you can draft a receiver there. You can get anybody there. You don't have to just reach for a guy just because you like him. Because my big thing about Jonathan Abram, I think he's a good player. I think he's fantastic versus the run, but when you ask him to cover, now what? You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think he was complete enough. You could have gotten 3 guys that are complete.
Wow.
You could have got Jerry Tillery to play 3-tech for you, or look, putting Jerry Tillery next to Maurice Hurst, next to Montez Sweat gives people headaches. Gives people headaches on defense. But y'all want to go draft the running back of Jonathan Abram that can't cover. So I'm gonna leave you alone. I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah,
that team that you just described is like 10 times better than what the Raiders did.
Yeah. I hate Trayvon Mullen. I'm mad that they took Trayvon Mullen at the top of the 8. They could have. Who else was on the board after Trayvon Mullen? They could have got Elgin Jenkins to fix their offensive line problems. Greedy Williams was there.
Greedy. I'd rather have Greedy.
Some people say he's the best cornerback in the draft. He had an attitude issue, but damn, he can cover everybody. Get over it.
They're saying he's not like he doesn't. He shies from contact sometimes. That was a knock on Greedy. He's an excellent cover corner though.
This is Greedy's problem. And I promise you, Greedy can cover anybody that you
looks like Chris Rock.
This is my issue, and maybe he does. So when you're winning and all that type of stuff, and the fields are good and the locker room is happy, then Greedy is happy. When it's like a big matchup, oh Greedy, you got DK Metcalf over there. What you gonna do? And DK Metcalf catches 2 passes for 3 yards or something like that, Greedy's good. But boy, when LSU starts to lose and there's nothing else to play for, now he don't want to tackle nobody. He starts thinking about his draft status. That's the big issue with Greedy Williams. But he's a pro now. Let that dude go cover somebody and that guy not get any catches on him. That's how this works.
So that's why you think he fell, is because of his attitude issue?
He fell because he may not love football. But I'll tell you what, Cleveland Browns goddamn Greedy Williams across from Denzel Ward, and that's going to be ridiculous. And
that's scary right there.
That's scary. I feel scared just talking about it because Denzel Ward really panned out.
That's crazy.
Understood. I wouldn't have done
it. Let's talk Daniel Jones, because we're talking about this just a little bit before, and I totally disagree with you guys. You guys hate the Daniel Jones pick.
I don't hate I don't hate Daniel Jones, but he has 2019 Eli Manning arm talent. You know what I'm saying? Like him and
doesn't sound good.
Him and present day Eli can throw the ball the same length of the field. I'm not kidding. He got blown out by Wake Forest. He didn't. In no way did he elevate his team or
Wait, his team sucks. He's on right. I don't watch that much college football, so I just watch it like when I need to for fantasy just to know who to draft. So, but dude, he didn't have much of a supporting cast, right?
I think some teams can transcend, like quarterbacks should be able to transcend how bad their team is in some way. If you look at Carson Wentz, like he upgraded that team. Even Josh Allen, I got my gripes about Josh Allen, but when he got hurt, like Wyoming didn't win no games. But when he came back, they went back to what they were. Even Pat Mahomes can throw for 4,000, 6,000 yards. It's just that the other team scored just as much as him. Now, if Duke was out here losing shootouts every week, but Daniel Jones looked good in the process of it, then that'll make sense. But
that's a great point, man. That is a great point.
But they all just kind of look bad as a whole. Dan is missing wide open throws. He, it gets weird outside the numbers. The crossing routes look weird. He can punt the football though. Oh, Daniel Jones can definitely punt the football, but that don't help you win ball games as a quarterback. And then you want to take them 6 overall. Let me find out the Redskins put a fake report in that they were Daniel Jones just so the Giants can take Daniel Jones at 6. That's brilliant.
I guarantee you that happened. That's like a 99%.
This is something that gives me like it's weird is that how Dwayne Haskins fell to 15. I found that a bit surprising. And everyone's going to focus, of course, on the Daniel Jones pick being so bad, but how did he fall to 15? And Washington, why didn't they trade up? It's a little freaky. It doesn't quite make sense to me.
It makes sense in the way that think about so just because Haskins could be your quarterback 1 this year, that doesn't mean Haskins is fantastic. You know what I mean? He just
I think he's overrated. And I like him around 15. I just didn't like him when they're talking about like top 5, maybe top 10. I don't like him there, but at 15 I think he's cool.
But let's be real, there's only a few teams that could realistically have taken him. And
Broncos, Dolphins.
I was just about to say.
And teams could trade up though. That's what I'm saying. Washington did not trade up, and nor did any other team.
In a great class, like if Daniel Jones is the first quarterback, how terrible. Like, why would you trade up for one of these guys? Like, that's stupid. There was good quarterbacks, then yeah.
And then I kind of talked about this pre-show. Like, if I was somebody's GM, I'm having this meeting. I'm talking to the coaches. I'm talking to the owners. I say, listen, man. Let's just be bad for 2 years and go get Trevor Lawrence, man. Like let's just do that. You know what I mean? Like if I can't draft Haskins this year, don't panic because I can draft Trevor in 2021 and I can win for the next 18 years. You know this Tom Brady effect that makes the Patriots so good that you forget how bad the Patriots were? Like that's what Trevor Lawrence can do for you. You know what I mean? So whatever team you are, just wait. Just wait, tank and be bad. When I saw Miami say, nah, we're not gonna draft these guys. I'm like, Miami tanking. Miami want to get Tua, or they want to get Justin Herbert, or they're gonna wait next year until somebody that you can really hang your hat on is like there. Now, can you win games with Haskins? Sure, but you can win games with Joe Flacco. You know what I mean? Can you? But you're not changing your franchise with these guys. Pat Mahomes, this is his 3rd year in Kansas City. Talking about up $200 million. We ready to pay him right now. I think that same thing is going to happen with Trevor Lawrence because he's that good.
Tanking in football is a little tougher. I mean, we see it in basketball is not as easy, but I think it works better in basketball. And football, just so many things could go wrong. I mean, you really would like, okay, we're gonna tank, and you're really confident it's gonna work. Like, it's a bit tough.
I'm saying this. If they really wanted to get Trevor Lawrence and help him out 2 years from now, they should have drafted an offensive lineman for him.
That does make sense, yes.
But, you know what I
mean? but teams do dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think keeping Eli Manning is fantastic because that's organically tanking. You could just start Eli and lose games and nobody else thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
Do you think the Dolphins knew all along that the reason why they didn't want to get Haskins is because they knew that they could get Rosen, and then they were really just building? They were just, knew that Rosen was the guy.
I don't really think the Dolphins were in on quarterback at all. This is my whole thing, though, and I don't even want to say the Dolphins are tanking because Fitzpatrick can get you 6 games. You know what I'm saying? 6 games in a row, and that ain't really tanking. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I guess it would make.
I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares.
Ryan Fitzpatrick will go 6-0, then he'll go 0-12
on the Dolphins.
He usually has good weapons when he's winning. He had Brandon Marshall and Decker when they were still good. Tampa Bay's kind of stacked with people to throw to.
When that man was in Buffalo, he was with the Buffalo Bills, and I was like, damn, Fitzpatrick doing this right now. They went 6-0, and then they lost the next 10 games. Fitzpatrick got some kind of voodoo in him, man.
It's magic.
I guess that's what it is. It's the beard or something, but
he's been eating a lot of birthday cake, though. Remember that in the off season. So
his birthday.
He's just been. You see that video? They were like, "You gained a lot of weight." It seems like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there was a lot of birthday parties. And I ate a lot of cake."
Oh, because he eating good, man. Teams out here paying for guys.
He's got this is like his 20th NFL contract. One topic I got to bring up. So I'm doing my RB research last year, right? And like I said, I'm not a big college guy, so I crunch and do a ton of research. Then I come across Vach Lombardi's video on Ronald Jones, and I start salivating. Oh, no. This is true story. Like I basically was on this Ronald Jones train because of you, and I take full responsibility for the advice I gave out. It's all on me. But you were the guy who got me excited on him. And once you started breaking down tape, I was like, wow, this guy's like, he's so shifty. He changes these 90-degree angles and he runs like a maze. It's like a maze path. I'm like, wow. And I keep watching this. I look at his PFF. I just keep watching tape. Now I'm like on this Ronald Jones, what's it called, rabbit hole on YouTube, and looking up all this stuff, and I'm like, this is so good. Why was he so bad? What were you thinking last year, and what are you thinking this year? Does this guy have a chance to redeem himself at least a little bit?
Ronald Jones is USC's Ronald Jones was a fantastic player. I just think that Dirk Carter has no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? I
agree. Yeah, he sucks.
I think teams have to fit each other. You know what I'm saying? Like puzzle pieces almost. Think about the Giants, right? They added Nate Solder, and then they drafted Hernandez, right? And I'm like, okay, they added 2 offensive linemen, but those 2 offensive linemen don't complement each other, and both of them together do not complement how Saquon Barkley runs. You know what I mean? Hernandez is a power guy. Solder's trash, but he's more of a finesse dude, and they're running inside zone. So Saquon's going to have to read inside out. And if Hernandez can't get to second level because his center can't, maintain his block, then it's all bad for Saquon. So you got talent there. But if the puzzle pieces don't fit, it doesn't mean anything. So Ronald Jones can play, but there's something going wrong in Tampa Bay. And if somebody paid me, I can watch all the film and try to figure this out. But I don't feel like it. I just ain't got enough invested in Tampa Bay right now. You know what I mean? But I still like Ronald Jones, and I bet if he was with the Patriots, he'll be doing good.
Yeah, well, that's not a good YouTube video breaking down Ronald Jones. It's a very small segment on this podcast. But I have him in Dynasty, and I'm gonna hold on to him. But I just kind of wanted.
Bounce back season.
The Bucks. Oh man,
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's tough. It's all good. I got Patrick Mahomes.
He can't be worse. He can't be worse than last season. So at least you have that going for you.
No, I ain't starting him anytime soon. So wait, I like Mike. You like Colin Murray too, right?
Colin Murray, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So you think the Cardinals shouldn't have did that first overall, Vach?
My whole thing is Kyler can throw, and Kyler is athletic, and Kyler does have poise. Kyler's little bitty.
He's the best mobile quarterback probably right now.
Kyler's little bitty though. He's very small, and he's gonna have to slide a bunch. He's gonna have to get out of bounds a bunch, and he's gonna have to get rid of the ball quick. And my big problem is, he's coming from the best offensive line in college football. I'm saying Oklahoma, 4 guys pro, the daggum center, who could be a pro, but he's just a freshman. You know what I mean? Plus, you got Hollywood Brown that could turn small passes into big plays or whatnot. And now you're in Arizona. You kind of got to recreate that for him, you know? So I think Kyler's cool, but he's the best out of these guys. If you put Kyler Murray versus Sam Darnold, I'm saying Sam. If you put him versus Baker, I'm saying Baker. If you put him versus Tagovailoa, I'm saying Tagovailoa. You know, it's just that the more quarterbacks you add to the list, Kyler falls down. But I'm not saying Kyler's bad though.
Can I rebuttal that? What about the offense that he's in? It's tailor-made for his skills. Now that, they have Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach and he runs the air raid offense, which needs a mobile quarterback that can make quick decisions and throw for big chunks of yardage. Like this could be a fantasy, marriage made in heaven right here with those two, leading the Cardinals. I think that's why they ultimately had to get rid of Rosen. Rosen could not run the system, the air raid system that Kingsbury's about to put in. So they had to get rid of him. That was the only thing they could do. And now they have the perfect person to run this offense. So I think it's a match that had to be done, and the Cardinals are going to benefit from it.
In terms of fantasy football, sure, Kyler gives you value in terms of he can give you those rushing yards, and they just added a bunch of help. He has Christian Kirk from last year. Andy Isabella can give you big.
They got like 4 wide receivers. I think they signed one undrafted free agent right after the draft too.
Yeah.
Butler's fantastic. He's like 6'4" with a big ass wingspan or whatnot. And Fitzgerald is there, and David Johnson. So sure, they got weapons. I just don't know about Kyler's size, and I don't know. I don't have faith in Kingsbury like that. Kingsbury gonna have to show me because he ain't really win nothing where he was at. Like you had Pat, you know what I'm saying, and he didn't really win with him. So I just want to see how that whole thing translates.
I think if Russell Wilson could be good, like he could be just as good, if not better.
We got to see.
I try not to make comparisons, man, because that defense.
Size-wise, I'm just saying. You said you're concerned about how small he is, but he's the same size as Russell.
Both baseball players.
He's not. Russell's actually thicker, and I think Kyler's like 2 inches shorter. Like Kyler's like.
I think he's the same height.
No, he's a little shorter.
Kyler looks like a civilian. Russell at least look like an athlete. You know what I mean? So
he's
sure.
the only athlete that got drafted in the top 10 of the 2 major sports. Like that's crazy right there. So that just shows you he's an elite athlete. Like no one else could do what he's done.
And
we're not dealing with the normal player here. We're dealing with an elite superstar athlete.
And if you could tackle people in baseball, then that'll be another conversation they got to have. But
Okay, well, just Colin Murray. All I'm gonna say is when I watch him play, he's the only quarterback in this class that popped to me. I was like, wow, this guy has star potential, and I was just a huge fan. But I'm reading you guys in the chat. Don't worry. But I want to address one question. See, Francisco's in the building. He's asking who's the best rookie wide receiver. I think it's got to be N'Keal Harry as far as fantasy value goes. So first quarterback off the board was Marquise Brown. N'Keal Harry went. Deebo Samuel to the Niners. A.J. Brown. McCole Hardman. I think Tyreek Hill's replacement. Paris. I like Paris Campbell right there. Isabella to the Cardinals, and of course Metcalf. I like him with the Seahawks. So, what are your thoughts on the wide receivers? Who's the best, and who's got the best chance in fantasy?
My number one receiver was AJ Brown. Because this another situation of compared to the. To the class, like he's just the best guy, as in terms of route runner, in terms of he's a yak guy. He can play inside and outside or whatever. I really value nuanced route runners because if you can't get open any other way, nuanced route running will save you. DK Metcalf, who is very talented, but before you can get yards and touchdowns, you got to be able to run routes and catch the football. And that's where his big problems are, So in terms of fantasy, it would be easy to say go with the dude that's on Tom Brady's team. Like that makes sense. But thinking about it, like Paris Campbell with the Colts, he's going to catch passes. He's going to get handoffs. He's going to line up in the backfield and do some running back type of stuff just based on his film. So like it really depends, but I think Harry is the safest pick.
And what What about Marquise Brown? I actually got a bunch of questions about him yesterday. He weighs 166 pounds and 5'9.5", and he's on the Ravens with Lamar Jackson.
He's smaller than Kyler, man. But
way smaller. Kyler weighed in 207 or something on at the combine.
He drank a lot of water before he got on the scale.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Hollywood can bring you some explosion. He's a big play guy. He can play inside and outside. It's just he's another situation of if he gets hit, are you gonna hold your breath or are you gonna feel confident about him?
Like a Tavon Austin, that guy gets tossed around like a rag doll. Someone needs to make a highlight compilation of him just getting tackled in the air.
Sure, and I want to say Tavon's bigger than him, man. Like Hollywood's like what 160,
166. I don't know any player that weighs less than him. Maybe a couple kickers.
That's little bitty, man. And one of these grown men, these mutant Avenger grown men, gonna hit him in the chest. Like you can't always slide, fall down, or get out of bounds.
Not when there's like a Cam Chancellor type of dude.
Good luck.
To you.
Good luck with Cam Chancellor hitting Hollywood Brown in the mouth. Like that's gonna have to be something that we think about. But if he was a few inches taller and 30 pounds bigger, I wouldn't have a problem with Hollywood.
By the way, guys, really quick, Russell Wilson, 5'11", 215 pounds, and what we were kind of agreeing with, Kyler Murray weighs 207, but probably more like 198. Or 202. Dude, he could have really gained 10 pounds just for and he didn't run either. So that's also like he could have really gained 10 pounds easily with just water. 5'10", 207 pounds.
Yeah, so he's pretty much the same ballpark as
ballpark, yeah, but he is a little smaller than Russell. I'm not even, dude. I don't care that much about the size.
He's still growing. He's only
listen. Listen, we're not saying Kyler's bad. We're not attacking Kyler. But I don't know if y'all are like fight fans or whatever, but you ever seen two guys weigh in and they're both the same weight, but then when like the fight come around, one dude's clearly bigger than the other guy? Like that's kind of how this is. Like Russell's a big thick dude, man. Russell can take hits. Like Russell does that. Kyler is a civilian. He's very, very small. Very, very skinny. And I hope he does well. Like it'll be fun to watch him. I'm gonna tune into him. I might draft him in fantasy just based on this conversation. However, these linebackers ain't playing with him. These D linemen ain't playing with him. But we'll see. What happens.
I'm not I agree with you, Vaj. I'm just not as concerned with the size. I'm concerned with the O-line and avoiding tackles and the way Russell Wilson scrambles very smartly. That's a tough trait. Like I don't know if I've ever seen a guy play like Russell Wilson. He has a knack for running away from those defensive ends and sliding.
Exactly the same thing, bro. He's actually great at sliding. Like
yeah. But I'm just saying, like I've seen Cam Newton get hit really hard and like not really get up. You know what I'm saying? And Cam is huge. You know what I mean? Like I just hope Kyler stays healthy.
You got Cam Newton playing running back every 5 plays. He's like, hey, you're a running back this play, or he's like, you know what, I'm a running back this play. I talked a lot about Cam Newton. It's basically proven that that's not sustainable in the NFL for a quarterback to do that.
I think that's partially part of Kyler's mystique. That's part of his thing. Him being able to move. You would have to try to throw some read option in there somewhere, or if you ain't got faith in him getting hit, you got to take it out of your playbook or whatever. So we'll see.
Oh, I like it. Just not as much as Cam Newton. I like throwing that in. I want teams just sprinkle that in there, not have that, like Cam Newton. I mean, when he, 10, 11 rushing attempts in a game, I think that might be too much to do consistently. And then he gets hurt, it happens.
Can I give you one name for rookie wide receiver that I think will be good?
What's up?
Debo. I was no one talking about Debo.
I like Debo.
He's in the perfect situation on the Niners.
He's got everything, right, Vach? Just overall, I like him.
It's a perfect situation. If you think
I really like Debo. Tough dude. Pretty solid route runner, good hands. If you had questions about him, he went to the Senior Bowl, stepped it up there, whooped everybody there. Don't watch the Georgia film though, because DeAndre Baker just gonna embarrass him and take him out the game though. But all the other film on Debo good, and it just I think it depends on how good Jimmy's gonna be. So we'll see.
And
assuming Jimmy's healthy, though, you could see how like that could work out perfectly for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He needed a young, quick target, explosive target, and now he has it.
Oh,
and his name.
Does anybody know why Hakeem Butler fell to round 4, pick 1, Arizona Cardinals?
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
It probably has something to do with his hands and his like his movement off the line of scrimmage. Like he's fast if he has like a rolling start, but he's not quick off the line, And so that could have something to do with it though. But I think like usage wise, I think there's a place for him. Like he can jump over people. Let him jump over guys. Yeah. Get touchdowns.
Just a little weird. I thought like early round 2 he was gonna go.
People thought we were
round
gonna
1. Yeah, we had him mocked at round 1. Like it was just kind of a shock. People in the chat want to talk about tight end. So Vach is he probably is gonna have to bounce in a little bit, guys. But let's talk tight ends. T.J. Hawkinson went kind of early with the Lions. I mean, talk about a complete package tight end right here.
I normally don't have faith in rookie tight ends. Like it normally takes somebody a year to get going.
For sure. Really like there's only 2 tight ends who did good their rookie year ever.
But boy, if anybody can do it, man, TJ's the guy, man. Even if he just lines up there and blocks really well, and that makes Kerryon better. Shouts out to TJ, but TJ can get it done, man. TJ, Noah Fant could probably give you some year 1 value, maybe going against the grain of rookie tight end or whatnot. But some people said that this was a pretty deep tight end class. I mean, they all kind of made me mad in their own different way. Either they blocked but they didn't run really well, or they ran but they didn't want to touch anybody. But besides the top 3 guys, TJ, Noah Fant, and Irv Smith, like the rest of them are kind of one or the other. But the one guy I like his situation and his film is Josh Oliver from San Jose.
He went to the Jaguars round 3, pick 5.
I saw that.
He's in Jacksonville. I really like Josh Oliver. Everybody else kind of makes me angry.
Foles might like throwing to the tight end. Jacksonville. Sure. Mm-hmm. Noah Fant though, round 1, pick 20 to the Broncos. A little bit excited about that. Things could happen that rookie year because Noah Fant looks. I mean, as far as fantasy, that's kind of the tight end you want.
Crazy that they're both from Iowa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Kittle's from Iowa, so it's like they have like a tight end factory thing going over there in Iowa.
If you want tight ends that can probably give you day 1 fantasy value, TJ can, Noah can, Dawson Knox can, but we haven't really seen him do it in college. Like he only had like 15 catches in college, so we'll see. Jace can do it for you. But he don't want to block anybody. That's what I don't like about Jace. But Aaron Rodgers.
Who drafted Jace?
Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Jace Sternberger.
Jace Sternberger. Okay.
I hate his last name, but he's more of a downfield threat receiver type. He's not going to block anybody, but he's in Green Bay with Aaron, so that could be something for you.
What about Jalen Hurd potentially becoming a tight end on the Niners? He got drafted as a receiver. He played running back at Tennessee, but they're saying that
he's 6'4", really tight end.
Yeah.
He's tall, sure, but I just think they'll keep him in the slot for mismatches, and not have to put that block responsibility on him. So like if I had the X's and O against somebody that had like a little nickel corner, I would take my big receiver and I would just whoop his butt or whatever.
Or how about running a 2 tight end set with Kittle and Hurd and just split them out? It's like, who are you going to guard in the red zone? Like
sure.
They can.
Well, it's Shanahan. We're Niner fans, by the way, Vach. And,
okay.
Shanahan's a genius, man. I think he's got a chess piece, all right? So he could be kind of a quote-unquote gadget player, but this is the first time I'm seeing a gadget player that's 6'4". I love this guy's. I never really watched him, and then after he got drafted, he was trending on Twitter, so I looked him up. I was like, wow.
He can do some gadgety things because he can run, but the biggest value that you get from him is he has big size in the nickel. Plus, when he catches the ball, he turns into a running back, so he has some good yak ability. That's where that really comes from. But is he like a pure gadget dude? I wouldn't say so. Is he a tight end? I wouldn't put him at tight end. No, but let him just like man.
Try a lot of creative things. I think that's like the best part about him.
Sure.
Yeah, Shanahan's gonna move him around. I tried to kind of compare him to Taylor Gabriel. Taylor Gabriel's moved around a lot that 1 year with the Falcons, but it's not like a good comparison, but kind of like that. Taylor Gabriel did a couple end arounds. He lined up at running back a couple times. He went deep for a touchdown once, screen passes. But he'll do something way smarter than what I can come up with. That's all I know.
Small though. There's no comparison. Like
Gabriel's tiny, and this guy's huge. Like that's why it's like not a good. I just mean like he'll use them in a lot of different ways, and ways that we're probably not going to think of. Right now.
Let me just say 2 things I hate about draft season is player comps and mock drafts. Both of those.
I have to do player comps. I don't know how else to talk. How else do you talk? What do you?
Player comps are stupid. I heard this one guy was like, "Oh, this defensive end is like Joey Bosa without the hand usage." Well, I'm like, that ain't him. Then that's a whole nother guy. Like, I hate how refined you got to get with draft comps. Just take the list of traits and go on with your life. Get out of here.
No, I get you. It's dumb. It's like a kind of like a caveman compare. Like it's like no, it doesn't make sense. But it's tough. I think it's a good way to explain to someone what's going on.
It's like a concept.
That person should watch film and stop relying on damn player comparisons.
So people in the chat are liking Noah Fant, but not Joe Flacco. And then I just remember they drafted Will Grier. That's good value, right? 3rd round. What pick? I think that was a good value pick. I'm looking up what round Will Grier went.
So it's to Carolina. He went like 3rd round.
Oh, he went. No, sorry. He did went to Carolina. That was a good pick. That was a good value pick, even though Cam Newton's there. Drew Lock. Sorry, got him mixed up. I
tell you what, if anything happens to Flacco, I think Drew Lock has an opportunity to give you some fantasy.
He will this year for sure.
Yeah, big arm, and I think they'll make it easy for him in the passing game. Plus, he can run around a little bit, so that'll probably.
Why can't Elway pick good quarterbacks? That's what I don't get. Like he's supposed to be like a quarterback expert, and he hasn't ever picked a good one besides Peyton Manning.
Because he's tanking to go get Trevor Lawrence. Clearly.
That makes sense.
But for what about last year and the year before, and ever since Peyton Manning left and Brock Osweiler?
Because they knew about Trevor Lawrence since he was in kindergarten. You're not listening. You don't understand.
He's like an Alex Jones of Trevor Lawrence conspiracy theory.
This is like basketball, huh, Mike? Like when you got the kid from like you scouting the kid from when he's like 13. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is that special, though. That's for sure. Whoever gets him, that's going to be a game changer for that franchise.
I'm just looking in your chat box. Jack Attack says, that Joe could be sort of like a mentor to Drew Lock. I'm like, man, he wasn't even that to Lamar Jackson. He wasn't. He didn't even that kid out. So I don't think that's a great idea.
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
No one mentors people anymore. That's not what they do anymore. It's every man for themselves in the NFL.
Right. Joe Flacco kind of fell off too. Like he's not.
Yeah, he definitely fell off. He for sure fell off. That's why they drafted Drew Lock.
I feel like Eli Manning's a better mentor to Daniel Jones than Flacco.
You wait a damn minute now. You on some thin ice right now. Wait a minute.
Wait, is this the Cowboy fan coming out, or is this did Eli Manning not win 2 Super Bowls? Yeah, he's not that good anymore. Like I'm not.
The New York Giants won 2 Super Bowls, sure, but Eli,
he didn't throw in the Super Bowls. Oh,
Eli closed his eyes. Like on his most legendary passes, they were both bad passes that just happened to go right. Come on,
helmet catch. You're talking about the helmet catch.
That was a terrible pass. He closed his eyes and threw that thing to the middle of the field across his body, and Tyree happened to catch it. That wasn't legit.
That's what Peyton says too.
Thank those defenses. Thank that run game, man. Come on.
Yeah, thank Michael Strahan in the rush as well.
Absolutely. Question to y'all fantasy football types. What do y'all think about Nick Foles in a new place? Because I think that Nick Foles is a little better than Carson Wentz. Like, I understand you want to go. I understand. So, Pete, I understand you want to go with the youth and you want to go with the arm talent, the athleticism, and all that. But as a Cowboy fan, I've developed this relationship with Dak Prescott to where, yo, man, like you may not make all the Pat Mahomes throws, but you win football games. You know what I'm saying? You're clutch at the end of games. You don't fold up. And I've seen guys with better arm talent fold up. You know what I mean? And I think there's something about that kind of guy at quarterback. Quarterback's all about intangibles. You know what I mean? So
I think it's the fact that they drafted Wentz like number 2 overall, and then they got.
I get why they did that, but that's not denying that Foles isn't clutch as hell.
But like they could have never picked Foles over.
Yeah, I don't. In the real world, I tweeted they should keep Foles and not Wentz, but it's not. It's just imagination land. Like it would never ever happen.
It would never in reality happen.
So hypothetically, if Carson doesn't get hurt, does he win a Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, I think he will.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, they crawled, they scratched and clawed their way to get that Super Bowl reign, and no one thought they would win.
Miracle. Actually, yeah, I don't think that.
Nick Foles with a reception touchdown through 500 yards.
Yeah,
that's kind of it's kind of insane.
I don't think Wentz could have done that against Brady. Yeah,
just as a Cowboys fan, I've seen Carson Wentz fold up a lot. Like I've seen him, make a lot of dumb decisions. And Nick Foles is just stone cold unbothered. And I think that's a very important intangible in terms of quarterback play. Now, am I saying he's going to take the Jags to the Super Bowl? I ain't saying that. But if the Jags can find a way to get to the playoffs first and then put Nick in the game, I think they got a good shot.
As far as fantasy,
thought about trading Carson. They're probably like, should we? What can we get? They probably had a discussion.
I don't think the Jags have a lot of weapons, and I mean I don't know who they I know they took they killed it in the draft. They absolutely crushed it, but I think they need more weapons for Foles to be relevant, and especially in fantasy, you can literally draft like 22 quarterbacks and be like, hey, these guys might be good. It's so deep, unless you're in a dual quarterback league, that I probably wouldn't draft Foles. I do like Foles though as a quarterback in real life.
I think if you can get it done real life, I think if you can get it done with Aguilar and Alshon, I think you can.
What about JJ, the wide receiver from Stanford?
JJ Arcega-Whiteside, fantastic, fantastic player, one of my favorites. I hate that he went so early, but taller guy, probably gonna play outside for you, can give you some duty inside, real tough dude. All he does is just catch touchdowns, snatch the football out the air, blocker, just fantastic.
All around, yeah. So that could be the guy. Who knows? Like you never know.
Now the Cowboys gonna smoke the Eagles, but I hate that Arcega-Whiteside ended up.
Did you want him with the next pick instead of Tristan Hill, or would you rather have Tristan Hill?
Based on the current state of the Cowboys, I would rather have Tristan Hill.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
I'm always a big fan of building trenches. So in real life football, like you say,
real football, right?
Trenches matter, man. Trenches matter, and I think the Cowboys defense was already good enough last year. Like they were at a certain. I ain't gonna call them elite or top tier. I don't want to, trigger your chat box there. But
no, that's a question I wanted to ask you. I almost forgot. Like I'm highly considering the Cowboys drafting their defense next year, because the fantasy defense is the keys are quarterback pressures, big plays, and it seemed like they can bring this. So you think they're fantasy relevant?
It'll probably be like a week to week thing, but just off the rip, just me thinking about it, teams they may not score on us too much, just like putting the ball in the end zone. Like that's where the biggest thing is going to come from. But the Cowboys don't really get turnovers. We don't really catch interceptions. We may get a
sacks and QB pressures will cause turnovers.
Sure, but we don't get them. We don't get them. We just play regular good old bend but don't break defense, keep guys out the end zone, don't give up big plays, play hard on third down, but we don't get turnovers. So I'm not really going for Dallas. Now week to week, we're playing like the Giants, the Dolphins, and like the Bills the first 2 weeks. So go get them then. But after that,
You got any more questions, Mike?
No, that's pretty good.
I love the Jaguars draft though. Josh Allen, Jawan
Yeah, they have the
Taylor,
best draft,
offensive
right?
tackle round 2. Josh Oliver, tight end. Like I said, I'd like to see more weapons for Nick Foles, but you can't just. I mean, you can't just go in the draft and get everything and then just be perfect the next year. I mean, you gotta get what you can get. You got to get value picks and improve your team. Vach, man, really appreciate you coming on the show. You guys can check out his YouTube channel, Vach Lombardi. I highly recommend it. What else? Just check out you on check you out on YouTube.
Check me out on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, Vach Lombardi. Support my merch. I got the I Watch Film shirts. You know what I'm saying? And it separates you from the average fan that just kind of watches TV and go to sleep and have an opinion. What else? What else am I doing? Hey, that's it. If you whatever fan of a team you are, I've probably done a film session on your draft pick. So all this football I'm talking, I've backed it up with film on the screen. So go and check that out. Appreciate y'all.
All right, guys, go check that out.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to our both YouTube channels, Fantasy Couch and Fantasy Couch Podcast. You can check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, the whole shebang. And make sure you guys leave some reviews. Hit me up on social media, guys, if you have any questions. I just wanted to get Vach talking on this episode because I really wanted to hear your opinion. But you guys can hit me up on social media at any time. I'll be coming out with some rankings, talking about rookies more. So make sure you guys peep that out on fantasycouch.com and on the YouTube. All right, peace.